Good, whatever time of the day you are watching this. Today, I decided to do a bit of wandering in a country called Switzerland. My main goal was to go into the Raetian Alps, but before I reached that part, I decided to take a small detour into Liechtenstein, because when else am I supposed to talk about this? The Principality of Liechtenstein is a German-speaking microstate located between Austria and Switzerland along the Rhine Valley of all places. The Rhine is that big thing in Germany boats use for navigation. Liechtenstein is sort of similar to Switzerland, as in they're not part of the European Union, but they are part of most of the trade agreements and the Schengen area, therefore no border controls. It uses the Swiss franc as the currency, and I guess you could see it as sort of an independent canton of Switzerland. Yet oddly, the only rail track that goes through Liechtenstein is not governed by Switzerland, but by Austria. I'm struggling to think of something else worth mentioning. Oh, Vaduz Castle. Overlooking the city of Vaduz, this castle built in 12th century is currently the official residence of the Prince of Liechtenstein, the head of state, which sadly also means it is not accessible for public visit, and I can't blame him having a house with this kind of view. Oh, okay, I documented myself a bit more about the subject, and the Raetian Alps are much bigger than I envisaged. We are going through the western part of it, and Liechtenstein is its northernmost border. It's not a detour, it's actually part of the episode. We're going to cross the Rhine back into Switzerland and head into the heart of the western Raetian Alps, to its oldest city, known as Chur, or Chur, or if I use the German pronunciation, Chur, which is 1 hour away from making a funny word in Romanian. The city lies at the bottom of a crack formed in between the mountains by the Rhine itself, with signs of human life being traced as far as almost 6,000 years ago. The general area was conquered by the Roman Empire in 15 BC, with the settlement itself becoming the capital of the province of Raetia and being known as Curia Retorum. I don't speak Roman. After the invasion of the Ostrogoths, in the 6th century it was conquered by the Franks, suffering more invasions in 925 by the Magyars, and interestingly by the Saracens in 940 and 954. Wait, this just sounds like your typical free-for-all arena match in Age of Empires 2. I mean, you got the Goth Rush, the Frank Paladins, the Magyar Hussars, and the Saracen Trebuchets. Yeah, while Curian troops fought in other major wars, the greatest threat to the city since then was, fire. At least 6 fires broke out in the 14th century. Then another one in 1464 where most of the town was destroyed, and then another one in 1479, and another in 1574, and another in 1576. Yeah, I'm kinda seeing a pattern here. In 1471, Chur, alongside 2 neighboring leagues, formed the Free State of the Three Leagues, which served as a precursor to the canton of Graubünden. That canton was established after the Napoleonic Wars in 1803, with Chur still being its capital to this very day. With the short history tour over, the city itself is pretty nice to walk through, a pretty good example of an old Germanic city, though it is lacking in landmarks. Good thing you have the Alps nearby. And a fantastic way to see those Alps is to take one of these, a Raetian railway train. Almost 400 kilometers in length, fully electrified. It just blows my mind the fact that they managed to build this railway going as high as 2,253 meters 100 years ago. Now, before I nerd out more about these trains, we're going to leave Chur behind and head deeper into the Alps towards St. Moritz. While heading there, I'm going to delve deeper into the province of Raetia. As I previously mentioned, it was occupied by the Romans and used Chur as its provincial capital, taking its name from the obscure Raetian people, which we know still very little about. But at the end of the 1st century AD, the province of Vindelicia was added to it, creating 2 separate entities, Raetia Prima, where we are currently, and Raetia Secunda, with its capital being known today as Augsburg in Germany. Therefore, the whole province of Raetia went as far north as Bavaria and Baden-Württemberg, where I am residing currently. Honestly, when I started making this video, I did not expect Raetia to be my next door neighbor. Other major cities part of this province were Aalen, Heidenheim, Regensburg, Passau, even Innsbruck. It's not surprising they decided to venture further north, especially when you're surrounded with sights like these. With a trip to the Roman times courtesy of some roadworks, we are now approaching Julier Pass, our last obstacle before we reach St. Moritz. I posted a video of crossing the summit of this pass with my personal car. It should pop up on your right side right about now. And my advice, if you are a driver and you like driving through mountainous roads, you must do this during summertime. Or late October in this case, because weirdly enough the weather was so hot there was no snow under 3,000 meters, which also meant that the ski season would not be able to open on time. On the pass you can also find the Marmorera Dam. Built in 1954 after demolishing the old village of Marmorera, this dam is part of an entire network which provides electricity to the city of Zurich, and also creates a beautiful sight. Autumn colors, a blue sea, and a clear sky. Surely it can't get better than this. It actually can get better than this, for when you descend from Julier Pass you will find the Silva Plana viewing point. I can think of very few other places on Earth which can match this breathtaking view. A short drive later we enter St. Moritz. It's known today as a major ski resort, even holding the Winter Olympics in 1928 and 1948. The history of this place is not very extensive. The Romans knew that they had healing springs in this general area, but it wasn't until the 1850s that the winter resort was built. Even the church of Charles Borromeo, which has this rather basic old-style look, was only finished in 1894. I do enjoy the architecture of it though. It showcases how close we are to the Italian border, as quite a few churches in Italy have this style of tower. Resisting the urge to Assassin's Creed climb the tower, synchronize the viewpoint from the top of the cross and then leap of faith into the lake, I head into the city, where the first thing I find is this deer animal gallery. I got nothing. The city itself is very clean and very well maintained. It also is home to quite a lot of brand shops, signifying itself as a very popular destination for those more endowed with money. But for those with a sweet tooth, in this building here you will find an excellent bakery, which makes very good donuts. Just keep in mind if you want to have a coffee as well, you have to order in the restaurant. I seriously wonder how much would it cost to have an apartment with this kind of view. Probably in the region of millions. That concludes my wandering through the Alpine region of Raetia. There is still one more feature film that I have to make. A driver's view no commentary of the Albula Pass, which is even more impressive than the Julier Pass. But I'll do that another time. Raetia itself is just a majestic landscape. But the real reason I went to Switzerland besides the sightseeing, wandering and the driving experience was to buy chocolate and cheese. Until next time.